She forced her billionaire husband, yes, a man who once owned everything, to kneel in dirt and scrub a pig farm with his bare hands. And the worst part, she did it only days after she won $100 million. How did a woman he once called useless become the owner of his humiliation? Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now let me take you back to how it all started. People used to call them the perfect couple. Anywhere Amara and Tundai appeared together, eyes followed them. Not because they were loud, but because they looked good together. Tundai had a calm confidence that made people respect him quickly. He dressed well, spoke well, and always seemed like a man who knew where he was going. Amara, on the other hand, had a gentle glow. She smiled easily, greeted people with warmth, and carried herself like someone who still believed love was a beautiful thing. They met at a friend's engagement party. Amara came with her cousin. She did not want to attend at first, but her cousin begged her. "Just come and breathe," she said. "You've been too serious lately." Tundai was there too. He was standing near the drinks table, laughing with two men. When he saw Amara, he paused. It was not the kind of pause that was rude. It was the kind of pause that looked like someone had just noticed something important. He walked over and greeted her politely. "Good evening," he said. "My name is Tundai." Amara smiled. "I'm Amara." That was all. But after that night, he found a way to call her. He asked around until he got her number. He did not rush her. He did not speak nonsense. He spoke with purpose. He asked about her work, her family, her dreams. He listened, and he remembered things. Within weeks, he began to show up for her in ways that made Amara feel safe. When she complained about transport stress, he came to pick her up. When she fell sick one evening, he sent medication and soup without her even asking. When she spoke about her mother, his tone softened, like he respected family. And because of that, Amara's heart opened. It felt like peace. Soon, people started noticing. They saw how Tundai held her hand in public, how he introduced her proudly, how he posted her in a respectful way, how he always said, "This is my woman," with a proud smile. Amara's friends became fans of the relationship. "See as your mandate treats you," they used to tease. "God, when?" Even her mother smiled each time Amara mentioned him. Her father asked questions too, the kind fathers ask when they want to make sure their daughter is safe. Tundai answered well. He visited. He greeted properly. He brought gifts, not to show off, but to show respect. Everything looked correct. But small things were there, like tiny stones hidden inside rice. The first time Amara noticed it, she ignored it. They were at a small restaurant. A waiter smiled while taking their order. The smile was normal. But when the waiter left, Tundai's face changed. "Do you know that guy?" he asked calmly. Amara blinked. "No? Why was he smiling at you like that?" Amara laughed because it sounded funny. "Maybe he smiles at everyone. It's his job." Tundai did not laugh. He stared at her for a moment, then forced a smile and said, "Okay." Amara felt a slight coldness, but she pushed it away. Maybe he just cared. Some men were jealous because they loved. Another time, she wanted to attend a friend's birthday hangout. Tundai asked who would be there. When she mentioned one male colleague, Tundai frowned. "Why must a man be there?" he asked. "It's a mixed hangout," Amara replied. "We're colleagues. It's not that deep." Tundai sighed. "I don't like it." Amara tried to explain, but he went quiet. Later that night, he apologized and bought her small gifts. "I just love you," he said. "I don't want anybody to take you from me." Amara's heart softened again. She told herself it was love. Months passed, and the relationship grew. People admired them more. Tundai started talking about marriage. He spoke about building a home, having children, making money together. One evening, he took her to a quiet spot, held her hands and said, "Amara, I want you to be my wife." Amara's eyes filled with tears, not because she was confused, but because she felt chosen. She said yes. The engagement news spread fast. Friends rejoiced. Family members congratulated. Some people even said, "This is the kind of marriage we want." But not everyone was celebrating. One afternoon, as Amara was leaving a salon, she saw a woman waiting near her car. The woman looked familiar. She was well dressed, but her eyes carried a kind of anger that was controlled, not noisy. Amara greeted her politely. "Hello?" The woman did not smile. "I'm Nina," she said, "Tundai's ex." Amara's body stiffened slightly. "Oh, okay." Nina stepped closer, lowering her voice. "I'm not here to fight you. I'm not here because I want him back." Amara watched her carefully. Nina took a deep breath.
"I'm here because I don't want you to enter what I entered."
Amara's brows pulled together. "What do you mean?" Nina's eyes were serious. "Tundai is not the man he pretends to be. He starts sweet, very sweet. But once he feels he owns you, he changes. He controls, he humiliates, he breaks you slowly, then blames you for being broken." Amara's throat tightened. "You're lying." Nina shook her head. "You may think I'm jealous. I understand. I thought the next woman would call me jealous too. But I'm warning you, as a woman." Amara shook her head harder now. "No, you just want to spoil things for me. Maybe you're bitter because he moved on." Nina's lips pressed together. She looked like someone who had heard that sentence before. She nodded slowly. "Okay, I've said my part." Then she turned to leave, but she stopped and looked back once more. "Amara," she said gently, "if you marry him, you will remember my words one day, and I pray that day will not come too late." Amara stood there, anger and fear fighting inside her. When she got home and told Tundai about it, he looked offended, then laughed. "She's crazy," he said. "She couldn't handle me, that's why. Don't listen to her." He held Amara's face and kissed her forehead. "Forget her," he whispered. "You're safe with me." Amara believed him. She chose love over warning, and that choice was about to test her in ways she never imagined. The wedding was beautiful. Music filled the air, families danced, friends sprayed money, and shouted prayers for long life and happiness. Amara glowed in her white dress, smiling like a woman who believed she had entered the safest season of her life. Tundai held her hand proudly. "My wife," he kept saying, and Amara loved the sound of it. For the first few months, everything felt right. They traveled, they took pictures, they laughed at night like teenagers. Tundai bought her gifts without her asking. He introduced her to business partners and called her his queen. Whenever people praised their marriage, Amara's heart swelled with gratitude. She sometimes remembered Nina's warning, but she would shake her head. She was wrong, Amara told herself. Tundai loves me. Then, slowly, something began to change. Not in one day, not in 1 week. It was gradual, like watching fresh paint fade under harsh sun. Tundai became easily irritated. The way she laughed annoyed him. The way she asked questions irritated him. Even the way she breathed sometimes seemed to disturb him. One evening, Amara prepared his favorite meal. She placed it carefully on the dining table, waiting for his compliment. Tundai took 1 spoon. Then he dropped it. Is this food? He asked coldly. Amara blinked. You used to like it. Well, I don't like it now, he snapped. Stop living in the past. She apologized immediately, confused. That night, he slept without touching her. The insults grew bolder. You are too slow. You don't think like rich people. Sometimes I wonder why I married you. Each word entered her heart like a nail, but whenever she tried to talk about it, he would twist it. So now I cannot correct my wife, he would say. You want me to worship you? Amara started apologizing, even when she did not understand her crime. Still, she held on to hope. One afternoon, she sat beside him with a small notebook. Her eyes were bright, nervous, but excited. Tundai, she began softly, I have been working on something. He did not look up from his phone. What? I want to start a clothing line, she said quickly, before courage left her. I've drawn designs. I've researched fabrics. I can sell online first. I just need small support to begin. Tundai finally looked at her. Then he laughed. It was not a happy laugh. It was sharp. Business? He repeated. Amara nodded, trying to smile. He shook his head slowly. Amara, listen to me carefully, he said, leaning closer. You are not a businesswoman. You are my wife. She swallowed. I can still be both, she whispered. Tundai's eyes hardened. Face the kitchen, he said. That is where you belong. Her lips trembled. But I can try. With whose money? He cut in. You want to waste what I worked for? Do you think money grows on trees? Amara felt heat rise to her face. I only wanted you to believe in me. After that day, something inside her reduced. But humiliation was waiting outside the house too. They were at a shopping mall one Saturday. Amara had seen a simple bag she liked. She did not even want him to buy it. She just admired it. It's fine, she said. Maybe later. But Tundai noticed. You like it? He asked loudly. Amara smiled carefully. It's okay. Tundai scoffed. You women, he said, loud enough for people nearby to hear, always wanting what you cannot afford. Amara froze. A few heads turned. Tundai, she whispered, embarrassed. But he continued. If not for me, some of you will still be trekking. The words landed like slaps. Amara wished she could disappear. She kept quiet all the way home. But the day that truly broke her arrived without warning. Tundai returned from work with another woman. He walked in casually, as if it was normal. Amara, he called. She came out confused. This is Sandra, he said. We're hungry. Amara's heart pounded. Hungry? Cook, he said. She looked at the woman. The woman looked away, uncomfortable, but not stopping him. Amara entered the kitchen. Her hands shook so badly she almost dropped the knife. She cooked. She served them. She watched them laugh at jokes she did not hear. And when night came, Tundai did not come to their bedroom. Amara lay awake, listening, to whispers, to laughter, to betrayal. Tears soaked her pillow, but no sound left her mouth, because somewhere in her heart a terrible thought had begun to form. Nina was right. By morning, Amara was still his wife, but she was no longer the same woman who said yes to love. Something inside her had begun to wake up, and it was learning how to survive. By morning, Amara was still in the house, but something inside her had changed forever. She moved slowly, quietly, like a stranger renting space in her own life. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her body felt weak. Tundai acted normal. He brushed his teeth, dressed for work, took a phone call. No apology, no guilt, no sign that he had shattered his wife the night before. When he finished, he picked up his car keys. "Make sure the house is clean," he said casually. Then he left. The door closed, and the silence that followed was louder than any insult. Amara sat on the bed. She stared at the wall. Her mind replayed the sound of laughter from the other room, the betrayal, the disrespect. Her chest felt tight. If she stayed alone any longer, she might break. She needed her mother. Not advice, not solutions, just comfort. She washed her face and picked up her bag. As she stepped outside, the sun hit her eyes, but she did not feel its warmth. The road looked long. Her marriage suddenly looked longer. On the way to her parents' house, she passed a small neighborhood store. She remembered something. Her mother liked fresh bread in the evening. Amara stopped. Inside the shop, the air smelled of flour and soap. She picked one loaf and placed it on the counter. While the shopkeeper packed it, Amara looked around absent-mindedly. Then she saw it. A bright poster, almost shouting from the wall. "Win big today, $100 million jackpot." Amara stared. A strange smile touched her lips. Win big? Her life did not win. Her life endured. She almost turned away, but something in her spirit whispered, "What if?" She checked her purse. The money inside was small, very small. She hesitated. What difference would it make? But then she thought about everything she had lost. Her dignity, her voice, her peace. Maybe it was foolish. But hope was also food. "Add one ticket," she said quietly. The shopkeeper printed it. Amara folded the paper carefully and slipped it into her bag beside the bread. No excitement. No celebration. Just a tired woman doing something small because she had nothing else left. Then she continued her journey. When her mother opened the door, she knew immediately. Something was wrong. "Mama," Amara whispered. Her mother pulled her inside, and Amara broke. Months of pain poured out like rain after heavy clouds. Her father listened in disbelief. Her mother wept. She told him everything, the insults, the control, the business dream he crushed. And when she spoke about the woman he brought home, her voice disappeared. Her mother held her tightly. "Why did you keep quiet for so long?" she cried. "I thought he would change," Amara replied. Her father shook his head slowly. "My daughter," he said, "love is not supposed to wound you." Amara felt shame and relief mixing together. Her mother wiped her tears. "Listen to me," she said firmly. "Whatever you decide from today, we are behind you. You are not alone." Those words entered Amara like medicine. For the first time, she felt she had somewhere to stand. Evening began to fall. Amara stood to leave. Her mother tried to make her stay, but she shook her head. "I will come back," she promised. As she entered the compound, fear touched her heart. The gate was open. Smoke floated in the air. Her steps quickened. Then she saw it. A metal drum, fire rising high, and inside it, her clothes, burning, her dresses, her shoes, memories of better days. "Tundai!" she screamed. "What are you doing?" He turned toward her, eyes red with anger. "I told you not to leave this house," he thundered.
Where are you coming from?
Amara's voice trembled. I went to see my parents." "Oh, now it's parents," he snapped. "I see you are getting bold." She shook her head quickly. "I just needed to talk." "Talk?" he barked. "You think I'm a fool?" She froze. "Who is the man?" he demanded. "Is that why you left the house?" Amara felt the world spin. "What man?" she whispered, shocked. "Don't pretend," he shouted. "You women think you are smart." Tears flooded her eyes. "I went nowhere except my family," she cried. But he was no longer listening. He grabbed another of her dresses and threw it into the flames. "Maybe now you will learn," he said coldly. Neighbors watched from a distance. Nobody moved. After a moment, Tundai brushed past her and entered the house, leaving her outside with smoke, ash, and humiliation. That night, Amara sat on the floor. The house smelled like burnt cloth. Her future smelled worse. She opened her bag to remove her phone, and the small paper fell out. The lottery ticket. She stared at it. Such a tiny thing. Could something so small carry any answer? She held it to her chest. "God," she whispered, "I don't know what tomorrow is, but please, see me." Tears rolled down her face. Outside, the night was quiet, but heaven had already started writing. Amara didn't know why she reached for her phone again. Maybe it was desperation. Maybe it was madness. Maybe it was the last thread a drowning heart grabs. Her fingers trembled as she searched for the results. The page opened. 6 numbers. She looked at the ticket, then the screen. Back to the ticket. Back to the screen. Her lips parted. "No," she breathed. First number, matched. Her heartbeat stumbled. Second, matched. She sat up straighter. Third, matched. The air in the room changed. Fourth, matched. Her hand flew to her mouth. God. Fifth, matched. Tears blurred her vision. Everything around her faded. There was only one number left. She was afraid to look. Afraid hope might run away. Slowly, she forced herself. Last number. Matched. The phone slipped from her hand. Amara froze, not screaming, not moving, just staring at the small piece of paper that had suddenly become heavier than her whole life. Heaven had answered. When the lottery office confirmed the numbers, Amara did not scream. She thanked them, ended the call, and sat quietly. $100 million. The figure was too big for celebration. It demanded planning. Within the hour, professionals surrounded her life. Lawyers, financial advisors, security consultants. They spoke about anonymity, risk, protection. Amara listened carefully. She asked sharp questions, and before sunset, she made her first decision. "I want out of the marriage," she said. "Not tomorrow, immediately." The papers were prepared with speed. Tundai returned home that evening, tired and irritated from another terrible day in the market. Losses were growing. Investors were calling too often. His temper was short. He dropped his bag and saw Amara seated at the table, documents in front of her. "What is this again?" he asked. "Divorce," she replied calmly. He paused, then laughed. A proud, relieved laugh. "So you finally understand," he said. "Good." He did not ask why. He did not ask how. He flipped pages carelessly. "Honestly," he continued, "of what use are you to me now?" Amara held his eyes. He leaned back in the chair. "At this point in my life, I cannot afford to feed an extra lazy mouth." The insult landed. But this version of Amara did not bleed. She watched him like someone watching a child about to touch fire. Tundai grabbed the pen, signed, pushed the papers away. "Best decision you've made," he said. Amara gathered the documents gently. Inside her, something peaceful settled. He had freed her without negotiation. By the next morning, she was operating from a private location arranged by her legal team. Quiet, secure, untouchable. Tundai had no idea, and she preferred it that way. Then the real collapse began. The market did not forgive Tundai. Trades sank deeper. Partners turned hostile. Some investors threatened court. He needed cash, urgently. So he started selling. The extra car went first. Painful, but necessary. Then another. He sold a piece of land he once bragged about. Then shares in a company. Each time he signed, he told himself it was temporary. "I will recover," he repeated. "I always do." What he did not know was this. Every buyer sitting across those agreements was Amara, hidden behind representatives, silent, smiling. She bought the vehicles, she bought the land, she bought the shares. Every document that left his hand quietly returned to hers. And she enjoyed it. Not loudly, but deeply. Because the man who said she was nothing was now surviving on decisions she approved. Finally, only one asset remained. The house. His pride. His proof of success. If he sold it, he could breathe again. He convinced himself he would rent somewhere small, bounce back, and rebuild. He signed the transfer, walked out feeling wounded, but hopeful. He believed he had escaped disaster. The next morning, representatives arrived. Formal, professional. They requested entry. Tundai welcomed them, trying to appear important. "Yes, yes," he said. "I know. Final inspection." The lead lawyer nodded. "Sir," he replied, "we are here to introduce you to the owner." Tundai smiled politely. "I would like to meet him too," he said. "Of course," the lawyer answered. Then he stepped aside. Amara walked forward, elegant, composed, radiating something new, authority. Tundai frowned. "What is she doing here?" he asked. The lawyer handed him a file. "Your ex-wife is the purchaser of this property," he said. Tundai blinked. "Sorry?" "Payment completed in full," the man continued. "Transfer executed." Tundai looked from the paper to Amara, back to the paper. His lips trembled.
How? He asked.
Amara spoke softly. "I won the lottery," she said. $100 million. His knees almost failed. The insult he gave her replayed in his head. Lazy mouth, useless, nothing. The lawyer cleared his throat. "Sir, the owner has instructed that the property be vacated today." Tundai looked at Amara, searching for anger, for mercy, for anything. What he saw instead was calm enjoyment. Not cruelty, not rage, just the satisfaction of balance. Within hours, he stood outside the gate, watching movers carry out what little he had left. Behind the walls stood the woman he dismissed, the woman he signed away, the woman who now owned his world. For the first time, Tundai understood that losing money was painful, but losing the wrong woman was fatal. Tundai did not disappear. Men like him rarely did. They hovered around the places where their past still breathed, hoping for sympathy, for opportunity, for reversal. For 3 days, he wandered between friends, distant relatives, old business contacts. Doors closed. Phones went unanswered. The respect he once carried had evaporated with his money. By the 4th day, hunger began to speak louder than pride, and pride finally bent. He returned to the gate, the same gate he once drove through like a king. Now he stood outside it, wearing yesterday's clothes, holding a small bag that carried the remains of his life. He pressed the bell. Security looked at him differently now, not with fear, with instructions. A call was made. Minutes later, permission came. He was allowed in. Amara waited for him in the compound, elegant, unbothered, beautiful in a way peace makes people beautiful. She did not rush toward him. She did not insult him. She simply waited. Tundai approached slowly. When he reached her, words abandoned him. All the speeches he had prepared disappeared. What came out instead was small. "Amara," he said. She tilted her head slightly. "Yes?" "I made mistakes," he began. She remained silent. He continued, voice shaking. "I was under pressure. I lost focus. I didn't mean half the things I said." Amara watched him the way one watches rain after already entering shelter. "I need help," he admitted finally. "There are people after me. If I don't recover, I am finished." She nodded gently. "Yes," she said. "You are." He swallowed. "Please," he whispered, "help me stand again." Amara looked at him for a long moment. Then she spoke. "I will give you a chance," she said. Hope returned to his eyes, but she lifted a finger. "One condition." "Anything," he replied quickly. She turned and pointed toward a vehicle parked nearby. It was already prepared. "We are going somewhere," she said. The drive was long. Dust replaced city roads. Farms stretched wide under the sun. Tundai kept glancing at her, trying to read her mood. She hummed softly to music, relaxed, almost cheerful. When they arrived, the smell hit him first. Animals, mud, waste. Workers moved around with buckets and brushes. In the middle of it stood a large pig pen, dirty, demanding, waiting. Amara stepped out. "So this is the condition," she said. Tundai looked confused. "What do you mean?" She faced him fully now. "You will clean it," she said, "from start to finish." His mouth opened. "You can't be serious." She smiled. "You signed papers easily," she replied. "You called me useless easily." She gestured toward the mud. "Today, usefulness begins." Tundai looked at the workers. They were already watching. Some recognized him. Whispers started. Heat climbed into his face. "If I do it," he asked slowly, "you will help me?" Amara folded her arms. "If you finish," she said, "I will consider." Desperation defeated dignity. He removed his jacket, then his shoes, and entered. The work was worse than he imagined. Mud swallowed his feet. The smell entered his throat. Sweat burned his eyes. He scrubbed, carried, washed. Hours passed. His back screamed. His hands shook. Several times he looked toward Amara. She sat under a shade, drinking water, speaking with the farm manager. Sometimes she laughed, and each time she laughed, he remembered the mall. By evening, he was finished, destroyed, but hopeful. He dragged himself toward her. "I did it," he said weakly. "Yes," she replied, "you did." She opened her bag, removed an envelope. Tundai's heart leapt. Money, salvation. But when he opened it, papers greeted him. Divorce confirmation, final, complete, irreversible. "I already freed myself," Amara said calmly. "Today was not for payment." She stepped closer. It was for understanding. Tundai's strength left him. Workers looked away in embarrassment. Amara turned toward the car, then paused. "Oh," She added lightly, "I wish you luck." The vehicle drove off. Dust rose. Tundai stood in it, alone. Weeks later, stories moved around the city. Some said they saw him hanging from buses, shouting for passengers. Some said he denied it. But one thing nobody denied. He had fallen, and the woman he threw away had risen. The end.